Okay, we are close to 6:30. This is Tuesday, December the 10th for Finance, Legal, and Audit. Roll call, please.
Anderson,
Here.
Berrigree,
Here.
Rolfs,
Here.
Delar,
Here.
Marcier,
Here.
Miller,
Here.
Cahill,
Here.
Mensch,
Here.
Mayor,
Here.
9 present.
All right, any public comment? No public comment. Everybody saw the treasurer's report for November. Any comments, questions about the treasurer's report? All right, I make a motion, we accept the November treasurer's report.
Second.
Roll call.
Anderson,
Aye.
Rolfs,
Aye.
Marcier,
Aye.
Delar,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Cahill,
Aye.
Mensch,
Aye.
Berrigree,
Aye.
Mayor,
Aye.
9, roll call carried.
Okay, everybody saw the Marty Warby contractor quote for putting a temporary roof on the Opera House. This is going to be a temporary roof to stop the damage, any more damage occurring until spring. We're trying to get through the winter with making sure that there's no more water coming in the way the roof is now. We need to get it covered. We have a quote for $12,685, and I make that motion.
Second. I'm going to ask if there's questions or comments about
Questions or comments?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Define damage. Are we talking about damage to the Penny's building, or are we talking about damage to the building next door?
This is gonna cover the Opera House.
Absolutely, but will it stop any damage from occurring at Mary's building, the bar next door, or only the damage within the Opera House that's well beyond repair anyways? An extra $100 of damage to me is ludicrous for almost a $13,000 expense. I cannot see any way, shape, or form that this would be justified. It's not going to prevent anything. It's not like we've got $1 million worth of property that's going to stop water from getting into it. It's going to prevent more from damaging it further. If this is something that's going to fix the problem that's leaking into Mary's building, I might entertain it. But it does not sound as if it is. It sounds like it's just strictly stopping water from entering the
But
Penny's
we
building.
don't totally know what the root cause of the damage going into Mary's building.
But we were supposed to check that out. We were supposed to know, and if we're going to spend money on something, we should be spending that $12,685 towards the repair towards Mary's, not on a building that is falling apart as it is.
But we don't know that either because we're still waiting on the RFP.
Well,
Well,
then we
then
need to
we
wait
don't
on
need-
all of this.
Then we need to wait. Why are we spending more money on a building that is
But-
not?
There was a rubber membrane on the roof of the Opera House, and then that kind of got blown on one of those cold,
Right,
windy
I've seen
days
it. I've been
yesterday.
up there.
So this would be to stop the additional damage from that.
Putting something up on the side for Mary's building. And if we have to spend the money, we should be spending it on one of our business owners' buildings instead of a building that is, at this point, so far gone.
But we don't know that, Jenny.
Well,
We
did
don't.
back when we first started
But I
talking
think-
about purchasing.
Well, I know you brought that up in the past, and I guess the thing that I'm looking at, and I know you're going from that code consultant report, correct?
That's part of it, but when we
Okay.
discussed it,
But
the whole reason
you
we
understand
bought it-
that probably those damages, there still would have been additional damages to that. It wouldn't have made it any less.
Did we not, and please remind me, but when we first purchased it, we talked about demoing it because it was in poor condition. And I remember you being a part of that conversation, and that was the reason why it was being purchased.
You're asking me?
I'm saying,
Oh.
if I remember correctly, that was something that you had also mentioned or
Yeah.
discussed.
We all talked
We all-
about
we all talked
demoing
about
demoing it initially
We need to look
until we looked at the cost of demoing it. That's what changed my mind, and we also have a group ready to take it from us.
Exactly.
And defray
Let
some of the
the group
taxpayer costs, yeah.
Take the cost. Give again, sell them the building so they can move forward. They've got two, and I'll read it from the city council meeting, that they shared that right now they're operating under the Community Foundation of Kankakee River Valley. They have two groups that are willing to help them with their efforts. If that's the case, by all means, help them with the efforts.
So you're
That
saying-
But to make an informed decision, that engineering report has to be completed. And Carlisle says that the engineer has gotten with them. They are working to construct the documents on that. So,
Well,
but
I'm
it
also-
you know, it needs a little more in depth. We just can't go with like what you're doing, a feeling. You know, we have to get a little more research into it.
So your feeling is that this
My feeling is that we need to let the engineering group
temporary roof is going to
stop
spend
temporarily the
$13,000
damage. Correct.
To what?
To stop the damage.
What? Really?
Yes.
It can't be damaged anymore. It's destroyed.
Yeah.
You're spending almost $13,000 to appease a small group of people who want to save this building, and I can understand that. Then give it to them. Let them come up with
There's
that
a lot
money.
around town that want to try and save this.
Then give it to
It's
them.
not just saying that you
So-
just give it to them. You needed to work with them, and I think by working with them, meaning that we can put a temporary roof on them, stop the damage getting further, so in that way they can, next year when it comes, and then they can take over and do some work on it. You can't just say that, oh, here is a building. It's a broken building. You take it. You go fix it. It doesn't work that way.
Sure it does.
But I guess the thing is,
Well,
what kind of vision or for economic development do you have if that gets demoed to a vacant lot? What's your plan?
My plan was never to destroy it to begin with. My plan was to
Never
take
to
it.
destroy it?
No, I have never once been the one behind the demoing of that building.
No, I'm not.
Mine has
I'm
been
not
to
tracking
give
you.
it to the other people that wanted it.
There is nobody.
I have never once voted and come across. If you can find it, show me where I've said that. But never once on the record in here have I been moving forward to tear the building
Okay.
down.
Well, then I can refer that to Jenny because she's been wanting to tear it down. So what's your plan for economic development with a vacant lot?
it's not
What's your
just
vision?
the demo. Give it to the people. If they
So you're
want
saying
to
that you
save it,
you don't think the city should have any involvement in
we shouldn't have purchased the damn thing to begin with.
No.
Pardon me.
But I mean, I guess the thing that I would ask of that is, it's been brought up as far as this was an issue, and even the gentleman downtown is saying, well, city needs to take care of vacant lots and vacant buildings. Then when we do, then he raises hell over a price, which he overinflates it. I don't know. I'm having a tough time tracking you. I'm sorry,
Okay.
both of you.
Well,
I apologize.
let me go backwards. For one, the council made a decision not to demo it. So fine, it's off the table. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
You all agreed that that's what you wanted to do. That's fine. But we should not be spending another dollar. The other two things that I want to bring up that came to mind after our meeting is Mr. John Donahue and the group, whomever Pat Warren was talking, saying how Carlisle was getting a hold of him about this. They don't even own the building. Why is Carlisle speaking directly to them? They should just be talking to us, not an outside person. And on top of it, it says here, she also addressed, that's Pat, that the leaking roof needs a protective cover as soon as possible. Once that is done, they plan to clean out the building and start bringing life back to it. Does that mean before they purchase the building? Or is that after? And when will that be? Again, we are spending money that this group should be entertaining. It can't get any worse than it already is. It has
Well, it
spent
can.
decades.
It can. Okay. Especially with the rubber membrane. You got to get up and take a look at it. Scott said he
I've
has.
been up there.
Okay. And is it out of
drone
place,
is
Scott?
Yes.
Okay.
I have
So,
pictures of them. I was up there with the
Okay.
man lift
good.
when he went up there.
okay. So there's more information to be gathered. That's being worked on. They've gotten together. I don't know how quick that is. I cannot speak for them. But I believe we have a motion and a second on the floor.
No,
I thought we did.
he made a
They
motion
want-
before
they
Did
want
we
to
have
make
a second?
started discussing it.
Okay, I
not my meeting,
think they
so.
cannot take possession of that building till they get their 5013 status, which I know they have applied for. So we can't give it to them until they can even acquire it,
Aren't they working with another 501c3? Why can't we give it to them?
because that's not what they're doing. That 5013C will not accept property for somebody else. So until they get their status, their 5013C, they cannot own that property, so we can't give it to them at this time.
We should halt any further discussions about the building until they finish getting their 501c and allow them or permit them to continue on with their journey with the building.
But Jenny, again, on the, your vision for a vacant lot for economic development, what is your
So you,
vision?
Doesn't matter.
Oh, it does.
No, it doesn't.
No, it
Oh,
You
doesn't.
guys
yeah, it does.
voted to
Voted
not tear
to
it down.
demo it, So I
We're just
already-
saying that the city should not throw any more money into this pit
Thank you.
until they get the idea that they can take it, and then we'll give it to them. And between now and
everybody's
then,
waiting on
we
the
do nothing.
Carlisle report.
so this is, so you guys are saying this is no benefit to the city whatsoever? This Opera House, would it, the vision that it could be, with this group taking over and putting a lot of money in it from other sources, that's gonna be no benefit to the city. Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is what happens if all of their dealings that they have fall through? What if everything that they're planning on doing falls through? What if they can't raise more than $5,000? Because they already spent 3 of the money that they raised. So, you know, they had to get rid of that. So all of a sudden, their monies are, I'm sure, are probably down to nothing again. But they could have paid for 25% of what is that roof with that money that they gave us for the Santa house. And so I'm just saying is what happens if all of this falls through and we keep throwing this money at this building, and then all of a sudden, we don't have a choice, we gotta tear it down. We can't do that, because you made the motion yourself, and everybody voted on it, so it can't be torn down. So, but I'm just saying is we don't need to be putting any more money into this white
But
elephant.
that can change, but I guess the thing that I'm looking at, Scott, is I just
When
I
did
just
they
can't go
actually
along
make-
with your approach
If
on
they
making
come
an
through and do what they
uninformed,
wanna do,
making an
then the
uninformed
economic
decision
development
without getting
will
the
follow
Carlisle
what it
report.
wants to be
You're
done.
getting
They
louder.
would be responsible
Okay.
for it.
So-
Here's the thing. We talked about selling those 3 lots. And I keep bringing it up, and of course, we keep getting crickets. But why not put that building up for sale? What if somebody wants to purchase it for whatever reason, and then the group can approach that person or entity to see if they can do something with it?
I don't
We're
think we
now
can do
taking
that
it off-
until we get the Carlisle report.
Then we shouldn't be doing anything more with the building until we get
Other
that
than
report.
there has to be some stoppage of what we have going on in there now that
What
can make
it
it
means
worse.
is to stop, we need to stop what's happening to Mary's building. That should be.
We don't
first
even
and
know if we're
foremost.
liable for that.
Well, we purchased the building now, so.
No. You gotta take a look at the pictures along the stucco wall where that rubber membrane on their roof was attached. There's a lot more. You can't go creating liability for the city.
I'm not saying
Because
I
an
am.
insurance company, and I guess the thing is why hasn't she made a claim with her own insurance company? And then they come after us.
That's a good question. I don't have the answers for her. Maybe
And that's
she
called
sought out an
subrogation when,
attorney. I don't know.
Or her attorney?
But
She make a
my-
claim 10 years ago.
Here's the question, though. We sat here, and did we not in a meeting say, we're gonna fix Mary's building? We're
Yep.
gonna go, did we not say
Yep.
that?
I believe one of you two
Absolutely.
did, but that's, we can't,
Wait, who?
we can't, I think one of you on that end, I don't know.
Really?
I don't know.
Okay, we'll have to, well, you know what, we'll go back in the minutes and we'll take a look. But I'm pretty
Did somebody down
sure
here?
there was more people down that direction who also entertained fixing her, looking into and trying to find out what it would cost to fix her wall and building.
I remember sitting here and asking Lauren to take a look at it. So I don't know if that's even been done. So, don't know.
The thing is, if you
Well-
fix the wall, the building next to it, they're gonna have more damage, and then if you fix the wall, it's gonna cost more damage, and then what's the point that fix that wall, that it's gonna
Fix
cost
the
more?
Yeah,
Wow.
so I mean, the years ago, we were gonna demo it, that kinda goes by the wayside, because we still would've had these additional costs, that gets us to 411 to 510,000 to demo it and take care of Mary's wall. Right now, we're at 224,000 for getting it structurally sound, getting it buttoned up from the elements. There's probably gonna be a little more on the roofing, but we don't know that part until we get the report. But we do know that water's coming in now. The engineer that worked with Carlisle is saying you better get a temporary roof. So if that helps kind of clarify for you, I'm, I hope it does. That's what the expert is saying that we should need to do in the meantime. And I'm gonna take his engineering degree over any of ours any day of the week.
Then go ahead and take your vote, because we know how it's gonna go, so.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, I'll make the motion that we approve this bid for
Roll-
Marty Warby Contracting.
I just wanna say that I was not in favor of not tearing it down, but since that vote went that way, then we're probably gonna have to do something about the roof.
They got their 501, what is it, C3, they got it yesterday. Juanita just told me that.
Beautiful.
That came in quick.
So now this might be a moot point.
The
They
water's
now
still
have
coming.
their 501c3.
So you're basically saying the city should have no, this is gonna be no benefit to the city whatsoever.
I'm not,
Even if this,
Thing.
let's say
'Cause
this,
I know there was a post about an email I sent, and I sent it. I'm as far as giving everybody a copy of it. But you had a couple of council members that went with a group to Chatsworth. And, I brought in stuff from Lockport and Kankakee. Well, they're 6 times the size. I don't think that really makes a difference. But we're 4 times the size of Chatsworth, and this was a public-private venture together, and they have a heck of a nice meeting room. I wish you guys, if you get who you can, maybe you can over the Christmas time, get over there and take a look at that. And it's become you've probably done your research, as I have, on the 3 lots, since you opened that up. Those lots aren't very deep. And from the research that I've done, that downtown lots just don't get purchased like that. They tend to sit. So if you have research on the other side, let me know your source and go ahead and tell us what that is.
it's prime location as far as being right there on the main drag.
But there's not a lot you can put in there. You understand that, right? They're not very deep
You can put a small
on the
building
south
of-
side.
we are actually
don't-
off subject
I know.
according
but-
to the agenda,
We
since you
are.
all wanna stick to the agenda.
Correct.
Roll call, please.
Bergery,
Aye.
Mensch,
Aye.
Delar,
No.
Anderson,
No,
Rolfs,
I.
Marcier,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Cahill.
Aye.
Mayor.
Yes.
Roll call carried, 7-2.
We have some transfers recommended from the Fox Group. The first transfer is from 30-50-8,000, the Water Fund, $50,258 into 61-10-9,000, which is the 2019 Bond Repayment Fund. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Bergery,
Aye.
Mensch,
Aye.
Cahill.
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Delar,
I.
Marcier,
Aye.
Rolfs,
Aye.
Anderson,
aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Roll call carried.
Second transfer is from 30-60-8,000, the Sewer Fund, $50,258 into 61-10-9,000, the 2019 Bond Repayment Fund. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Anderson,
Aye.
Rolfs,
I.
Marcier,
Aye.
Delar,
I.
Miller,
Aye.
Cahill.
Aye.
Mensch.
Aye.
Bergery,
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Roll call carried.
Third transfer is from 36-10-1,000, the Infrastructure Fund, $193,477 into 63-10-9,000, the 2022A Bond Repayment Fund. Make the motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Delar,
I.
Anderson,
Aye.
Rolfs.
Aye.
Marcier,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Bergery,
Aye.
Mensch,
Aye.
Cahill.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Roll call carried.
Any discussions about the budget, audit, finance discussions? I do have an appointment next Wednesday with the Fox Group to look over the budget that we're halfway through past our halfway budget back in November. I'm gonna meet with them and look to see how our 6-month looks on our finances. Just thought I'd let you guys know I have an appointment with Fox Group. Any other committee member inquiries or comments?
Well, not really, well, I guess it is kind of legal and stuff. Just got a call today from Rhonda Pence. They're looking for Roger Dietrich to be reappointed to the hospital board. I know when Doug Geiger came up, there was some discussion or issue. I know it's a mayor appointment with a consent and advised agenda. I am ready to make that, but again, with Doug, there was some questions, so I'm gonna let those council members that might have, feel free to contact Roger and find out, but I know he's been pretty loyal to that hospital and trying to make it grow. So that'll be on next week's agenda. Just letting people do their own research to see if they want to move with that on consent and advised. The other thing, city arranged for a tour of Alliance Polysacs for the State Senator Bennett, State Rep Bunting, U.S. Rep Robin Kelly's offices, and of the factory, new factory, and we were featured on U.S. Rep Kelly's newsletter. So just positive news for Watsika. That's all I got.
Looks like it's going great too. I'm sure I believe they're still looking for some help if somebody needs some work.
Yeah.
Great place to go to work. Okay, anything else for finance? Motion to adjourn?
So move.
I
All in favor?
Bye.
Aye.
Okay, I'll call the December 10th Public Works Water-Wastewater Committee meeting to order. Kathy, if you would, please.
Miller. Miller.
Here.
Cahill.
Here.
Mensch.
Here.
Bergery.
Here.
Delar.
Here.
Marcier.
Here.
Rolfs.
Here.
Anderson.
Here.
Mayor.
Here.
9 present.
Any public comment? Hearing none. Lauren, your report.
Good evening, council. First on the list here is water, well 9 and 10. I've given Peerless Midwest approval to order VFDs, just waiting for that schedule. Our test well, we received our water sample results. Our arsenic level was 5.6. The EPA's MCL, maximum contaminant level, is 10. As most of you guys are aware, they dropped that from 50 to 10 some years ago, and it created a lot of issues with our other wells. I was hoping to see a lower level than this, but we're about halfway there. Talking with the well company, we did a day's worth of pumping on about 150 gallons per minute on I think it's just a 6-inch well, the test well. We could test that longer, but they don't think there'd be a whole lot of change on the influence from the 150 gallons per minute. I think the only way we're going to see a difference is to actually pump what we normally would be pumping, the 500 to 700 gallons a minute, to see if we have any change in that aquifer. Unfortunately, it's not a cheap move forward. Obviously, we do see arsenic here, so there is a possibility of that arsenic level climbing. So I asked them to provide me a quote. I'm hoping to have that next week to do a 12-inch well, similar to what we have out back here, but without the equipment. So they would drill the well, put the screen in, and then they would do a large test at 72 hours at the 700 gallons a minute, and then do resampling to see if that arsenic level changes. But you're talking between $100,000 $150,000 to drill that well and do the testing. Again, I'll have those numbers, solid numbers, next week. So we have some decisions to make on next steps with that. Unfortunately, it is a little bit of a gamble seeing some arsenic there, but it is lower than obviously the other wells that we've had to abandon. It's a little bit higher than what we're seeing over here. But
Are you suggesting another location?
the problem is it's not easy to get approvals and land. So I mean, it's still an option, trying to seek other land, do more test wells to see what the levels are there, or to move forward with a large. The positive side is if you drill the larger test well, you do your 72-hour pumping, you do your sampling, and your arsenic level doesn't change or even drops, then you just purchase the equipment and use that for your main well. That is the actual well casing and screen. So it's not like you're drilling a whole nother well. It's just if that arsenic level does climb, then you're not going to move to the next step with purchasing the pumping equipment and moving forward with, production of that well.
Well, you've been in this field for a while. What's your gut telling you? Do enlarge the well and see?
That's kind of where I'm at.
And I know
Wells are a gamble. I mean, you guys before my time did some test well drilling over by the boot pond and found no water.
right.
I
think we did over by the baseball field too.
It's a lot of, you try to pull as much data in the community as you can to figure out where to drill a well, but you could be off 20 feet and miss an aquifer. So I mean, it's a little
Right
bit
now
of a
you know you've
gamble.
hit
It's a
water.
gamble on all ends, the drillers, the community side. So
But right now you know you've hit water.
right now we've got good water.
Okay.
It's just
If we
a
come up with
matter of-
arsenic, there is a
Just
way to treat
and
it.
there's no vinyl chloride. This was the only, this was it. The iron level's a little bit higher. It's just a decision we need to make whether we put more money here and see what the full development would look like, or move on to another test site. But either way,
Another test sites we're looking at is over by Heritage Woods.
which we're struggling to get land.
Where else are
approval.
we thinking?
Well, we were looking at the county, but we can't do anything there because that was a floodplain.
Okay. Well, those can be raised, right?
Well, no, it was.
Oh,
There was a wetland over there as
Wet-
well.
Oh,
They-
okay.
They were,
Yeah,
there was something about the wetland and there, you couldn't develop on the property that they had available.
They had recently changed it to they deemed it recently as wetland, so it went from floodplain to wetland,
Okay.
and now we can't do anything.
and then the only other place would be John Bell's property, were the ones that we had in mind, right? But that's going to be pumping it even further, right?
Well, we were looking at Johnny Martin's property over by Heritage Woods,
Right.
and then we talked a little bit about the John Bell's property there by Legion Park. We could do more test wells and see what sample results look like across the board before we make the next step. I mean, it's a tough decision. I mean, it's a lot of money either way.
You
You're
guys
talking.
are our experts. Your gut is saying enlarge this well. Keith, what have you seen with some of your other?
Here, let me elaborate on why I say, because if we can get a good well on that side of town, that's going to resolve a lot of our chlorination issues, our stagnant water issues. We have a lot of issues. That's so far from our source now that we see a lot of issues. We're constantly fighting the chlorine system out of the west side tower. I mean, we're maintaining, but it's a lot of additional work and
There's going to be
efforts.
additional treatment for the iron and the arsenic.
Well,
correct?
the
And it
iron
can be treated.
It can be treated for sure. So the iron level was just below one part per million.
Uh-huh.
We're seeing more like about a half a part per million at our other wells over here on the east side. We have iron treatment over here already. I think either way, we would look at a pressure filter system on any of the wells we put in, just for water quality's sake. The more iron you can remove.
Well, that's
less.
iron. What about the arsenic?
Well, arsenic is a whole nother level. I mean, there is treatment for it, but it gets to be a little bit pricey on all the steps you have to go through.
If this arsenic level doesn't change,
And
what you
then,
got now,
they do
that treatable, decent treatable, not,
the arsenic level. If it doesn't change, you leave it alone. You don't need to
Okay.
treat it. Yeah,
It's below what the
below
EPA
10.
requires for you to treat.
okay.
Oh, it is below.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
I'm
below.
sorry,
Yeah. 5.6 is where we're at now, and the maximum contaminant level right now is to 10. So anything 10 and above, you're out of compliance. You have to treat.
Okay.
But, you know, I know it sounds really horrible, but it used to be 50, 12 years ago. It wasn't that long ago that their level used to be 50. EPA gets stricter and stricter every year. It's a tough decision. Like I said, I would love to see a well there because it would help with some of our other issues we have on this side of town.
And that's closer
Yeah,
to that tower crossing.
yeah. So there's pros and cons there.
I understand.
I think we keep going where we're at.
I would,
Just for
concur
reference,
with
I
that.
mean, like Lauren said, the ones by the boot pond that we dug, you're talking $40,000, and they
Up.
couldn't get more than what you'd get for a residential well. So it is, and that's near your other wells already, so it is a little bit of hit and miss with the geology, and
Plus, we're gonna be running
You
a
just-
larger main through there, right, down North Street?
Yeah. And that's kind of the holdup. We're trying to determine what size well or water main to go with, depending on this well. So like Keith said, you know, we could spend 150,000 on 3 more test wells and not hit water because we're 20 feet off or same issue. So, I mean, it's a gamble, but
I agree with Dennis, and I agree with your gut.
I will get a quote hopefully for next week's full council meeting. If not, it'll be,
Better ask the rest of the council.
I mean, it doesn't cost to get a quote, right?
Right.
So
right.
I'll get a quote, and then next week we'll discuss it further. Just food for thought, and I wanted to bring that to everybody's attention. So I don't think we need to make a decision tonight, right? So next item here is we need to allocate the ARPA funds by end of year.
There it is.
So that's why I was gonna push. I think we need to allocate those funds to well 12 in general, knowing that those, whatever dollars we have left, was it 300,000?
Kathy sent us that.
Yeah,
That's all can be really useful.
yeah, so we just need to allocate it to well 12. Well 12 could be over there on west side, or it could be over on the south side. I think if we just deem it toward well 12, it kind of gives us a blanket to work with.
Is that paperwork you do to dedicate those funds?
Kathy and I have already put that into the Treasury website for the federal government.
Okay.
What ARPA wants, what the federal government wants now is some kind of a assurance that you're doing it. You have 2 more years to spend the money, but if you get the price from Peerless for this, we'll put that into the website, and then that'll secure the funds, and then you have 2 years to allocate it.
And I still think if we get lucky with this, I still think we start in on another one.
I think we still need a well on the south side of town in case we have a great divide
I
down
know I've
Main
said it
Street.
100 times, but in the last 18 years, we've closed up 4 wells in this town because of this level. And that was ERH's easy way out, I guess you'd say.
And if the level stays at 5 on this one, it's lower than what the other ones were, so that's, the other ones, like Lauren said, they were in compliance until the EPA lowered the threshold, and then they became out of compliance. And instead of adding treatment, they just sealed them, and once they're sealed, you can't reopen them.
Would the hospital have any land? Nick?
No, because they were wanting to build on
Right.
the other side of 4th Street there.
Wonder over by the 2nd Street if Roger would have any land. You know, it's on the other side of his berm.
Yeah.
I mean, just food for thought.
Yeah, we need to continue exploring for more wells like Dennis.
And a
said,
reminder,
and we-
The water and sewer account is
Pretty
accumulating money. That was the whole point of all these rate increases over the years, was so we could do things like this.
We have some water,
Wasn't just to raise them for fun.
we have water main that need to be replaced, old water main that needs to be replaced and also upgraded.
I
Another
think we
reason
have
behind
20 years worth of neglect to catch up on. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just, if we capped wells and we didn't look at new wells, you know,
Water rates and taxes.
it's just,
We're gonna be waiting for good weather now.
well 6, still waiting for Nightcore to disconnect the service to finish tearing down the building over there. Last item here on my list on underwater is Glenn Raymond's water and sewer bill. They had received a almost $19,000 water and sewer bill. We changed the meter. Oh, what was that back in? I feel like it was July, but
Yeah, July, August.
yeah, July. The water usage dropped down to normal after that. So I sent the old meter in for testing. They verified that it tested a little bit slower. It wasn't testing fast, so it wasn't the meter at fault. Talking with the school, they did have some leaks and some urinals, different things like that. They, tried their best to figure out exactly what's going on there. They've been very cooperative and patient with us, and we've been patient with them trying to figure out what they have going on. A $19,000 bill for that school is pretty large. It obviously blew their budget.
What's their normal monthly then?
Normal monthly?
Or, I mean, was this a 1 month bill that they received
No,
for
this-
19,000?
This was over from February to
10 months worth of bills.
10 months.
Their bill usually runs about anywhere 300 to 550.
And it was
Depending
jumping
on
to $200 to
school.
$2,500 a month. So talking with the school, they're willing to be a little more proactive, reading the meter themselves on a daily basis, tracking usage to try to catch leaks ahead of the time. Like I explained to them, we read meters once a month. The bills go out a couple weeks later. So if you have a leak, you have a leak going on for a month and a half before you notice it on your bill. I know that's not our fault, and we can't police every little thing. But I feel when residents or businesses are willing to cooperate and try to resolve issues and be more proactive, I feel there's a little bit of help from our end would help a long ways. I think it's in good faith. So kind of working off the sewer side, obviously they bought the water. The water went through the meter. So the water bill is what it is, but removing the sewer cost, the additional sewer cost would take about $5,000 off of this bill. I would like to get approval to give them a $5,000 credit on this. I think,
So move.
it's a large amount, but it's an over 10-month period, and I think we've worked with a lot of residents. Obviously, it's on a much smaller scale, but it's a much smaller user too, so.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
You feel they resolved their issue, you're found?
Yeah, I think the issue's resolved, and they're gonna be more proactive to keep an eye on things, so,
You said that was Glenn Raymond?
yeah.
I think we had a motion and a second, right?
Baragry,
Aye.
Mensch, Cahill,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Anderson,
Aye.
Delar,
Aye.
Rolfs,
Aye.
Marcier,
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Roll call carried. Thank you for that.
Well, they're a taxing body too, so I mean, it's just, should be that way.
Distribution system, not much movement on radios, due to time.
Yeah.
Water main valve exercising is almost complete. We have some valves to locate, a couple to replace, but, it's been a big help. You guys probably see a lot more blue paint on the ground, locating valves, extending them up, updating our maps. I think that's gonna really help us in the future. I want to continue that exercise every year just to keep them moving. It'll save us money in the long run. Lead service line inventory grant, no major updates on that. The grant for the water main extension on Elm, Keith, I'll roll that over to you.
Sure. The EPA is in the process of issuing a permit extension for that. The water main permits are only good for, is it a year after you get the
12
permit? So we have to extend it each time. I'm hoping that either in late this month or maybe next month, we'll get a call from the EPA for projects that have dropped off the list in Elm Street. Hopefully we'll have a notification for you that there's funds available. So Jordan Ellen has been reaching out regularly from the EPA, so she's confident that we'll slide into a position where there's funding. So
So,
But again, it's contingent on projects above us either not going through or coming in under what they anticipated.
so North Street water main extension, just still dependent on the test well, so that's on hold. We had 3 water main breaks this last month, one on East Ash, one on North Virginia, and one on East Grant. All 4-inch mains. We were able to repair them live, so no boil orders were issued. I feel that the crews are all trained and doing very well, very efficient at what they're doing now. So pretty impressed with how these guys are handling water main breaks, even the newer employees. So source water protection plan, Robinson's expected to get us a draft report around December 13th. Water main projects, Keith and I discussed this last week, the Belmont to 6 project. They're hoping to have the field work completed, next week or 2?
The field work is completed. I've talked to the CAD manager. This is at the top of his list right now, so I'm expecting any day to have a draft, or at least have the survey drawn with the right-of-way. I will sketch a water main on there per what Lauren and I had talked about. I'll meet with him and we'll finalize the location and keep that thing moving along. We are on target to have that out for bid in January.
And after reviewing this last week, Public Works is gonna do some potholing on a hydrant extension on Mulberry. We're hoping to find an 8-inch main feeding that hydrant, so that'll keep us from having to cross into that new pavement. So if that's the case, we will reroute it to use that as our tie-in point. But just trying to make sense of things the best we can. Wastewater treatment plant, still waiting on the IEPA on the NPDS permit that was submitted last month. Good news on the sludge transfer to drying beds. Previous employees had thought that pipe was collapsed, so after a lot of jetting, valve work, pump work, we were able to get a little bit of movement over there, and then a little bit of thought behind it. I had the guys pipe in our trailer mounted air compressor to that anaerobic digester. That thing's been settling grit and sludge for years, so I came to the conclusion that everything at the bottom is probably dirt. So there's no moving dirt with a sludge pump. So putting air to that thing, pumping air for a couple days, we were able to pump well over 200 gallons a minute to drying beds. We transferred about 15,000 gallons of sludge over there. That is working in the correct order now. So now we're able to start a better process there. So now I think the next step, once we get our permit, is remove that lid and start looking at blowers and create an aerobic digester and get rid of that anaerobic digester. Some telly tubes to dewater properly, and we'll be able to do a lot more sludge management over there. So pretty excited to see
Poop moving.
poop move. So it's probably been many years since that system's actually worked. So
I liked it when you said that the other day.
so the little things in life get you excited. I guess. So,
Maybe not so little.
So, the sanitary and storm sewers update, the Locust and Brown Street sewer project, it's complete. They've got the old pipe filled today underneath the tracks. They did a lot of site restoration, blankets for erosion control, probably just some tidying up this spring, and then we have some asphalt work to do on the Locust Street side. But that sewer is all tied in, flowing correctly. Rail Pros is happy with the flowable fill today, so that's 95% complete, I'd say, at this point. 90.
Yeah.
602 Lincoln manhole project, we started that today. As I was saying earlier, we came across an unmarked gas line that held us up for a few hours. Nicor thought it was a live gas line. After going around and around, they finally said, no, that isn't a live gas line. It's not ours. Go ahead and cut it if you want. So, So we cut it. It's a deadline. I don't know what it was. Probably an old gas line at some point, 100 years ago. But so we were able to get that removed out of our way. We got the structure set. So tomorrow we'll finish removing the other 2 cleanouts, finish the sewer main work. That was the issue where there was 3 cleanouts in one area. It was a cobbled up mess, to be honest with you. There was the 2 neighbors on the north side of Lincoln were constantly having sewer backups, and we're jetting there almost every month. I mean, it was just a bad tie-in. They should have put a manhole there a long time ago. I don't know why they just did the clean out setup. It wasn't working. So hopefully we'll be finished with that tomorrow, and the neighbors should be happy. It was backed up when we opened up the sewer today. I mean, it flowed in sewer on us for an hour before it stopped, and yeah. Still working on cleaning out catch basins. They kind of came to a screeching halt with the cold weather. Obviously, it's hard on that VACCON. So we took advantage of the cold weather last week and this week a little bit. Serviced all of our equipment, all our trucks. Oil changes are done for the year. Made repairs where needed. So you'll see some invoicing on little parts here and there. GPS mapping still being used as time allows. Obviously was used quite a bit during the valve exercising. Our parks is the next item here, our oscillate grant. I don't think we've got any update on that right now, do we, Keith?
No, the IDNR thought they would have an answer for us in December, which honestly I would be shocked. They usually don't come out until maybe January or February. I think one year they didn't come out until June. So, but they had told us December, but I wouldn't wait for it this month. I would anticipate January at the earliest.
Streets, the paving on Fairman's completed. We discussed last month about no parking on the east side from Fairman to Coney. I talked to the fire department, I talked to IMH, and I talked to the police department. Everybody liked the idea, didn't have any issues with it. Actually, Marty Tilstra was ready to put out an announcement to staff today. I told him, no, let's wait till council approves it and ordinances are changed and things are ready to go. Just need approval if we want to make that a move on the east side there along 5th Street.
So you're wanting possible action tonight? Take it forward?
Yeah.
Anybody?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
If you would, please.
Barry,
Aye.
Anderson,
Aye.
Mensch,
Aye.
Rolfs,
Aye.
Cahill.
Aye.
Marcier,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Delar,
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Roll call carried.
Next item here, the heat and recycle MFT project. I finally was able to get Gallagher to come down. They took pictures of the fog coat that I think everybody's pretty unsatisfied with. They agreed. So they're talking with their subcontractor, and I think we're all in agreement that they're gonna be doing another fog coat this spring. So payments being held until this is resolved.
Yeah, it's temperature dependent. It's too cold out this time of year. If they were to put it down, it would not cure properly. So unfortunately, it's going to be like this through the winter. But they will have to redo it, and they're aware of it.
So with the reduced fog coat that we got now, is that going to affect the plowing of that street? Is it gonna pull up the gravel that's underneath it?
No, the fog coat was more of,
I know what it's supposed to do, but it's also supposed to lock that in place a little bit better.
It
And if it's
will.
loose, where people are actually, pulling away from it and leaving tracks, does that mean that a wet, sticky snow with a plow going down it is gonna pull that gravel up too?
Anything's a possibility. I mean, the neighborhood I grew up in had chip seal roads, and if there's any damage to the pavement because they didn't get the fog coat down properly, they'll have to restore the chip seal in the spring.
As long as we're all on the same
yeah,
page
we're
with
gonna
that,
hold them
that's all.
accountable.
Yeah,
I
they-
mean,
they
like
will-
any other contract.
They'll have to make it whole. They did not perform, and if there's any further damage, they will have to repair it.
I'm glad that was addressed, because that was a pretty weak fog coat.
Yeah.
It was, and we told them that when they were doing it, and they kept saying they would come back, and they didn't come back.
I
so.
haven't been over there in a while. What about the piles of gravel? We're still, they're ours now, right?
Yeah,
Did
we
you guys get 'em
we've
all the way,
removed
or-
all, yep, we've
Okay,
removed
good.
those, yep.
Bonus gravel.
So, next item here is the Martin Avenue extension. The sewer mains and laterals were installed. The water main is complete and tested and approved. So that loop is now open from Martin Avenue to Porter. I believe the 4 service lines were also installed recently. And then storm sewer is partially completed at this point. So
We'll get that completed, or
Hi,
they will get that completed yet?
the storm sewer.
They're gonna keep working. They're having box culverts delivered later this week. The sanitary sewer was installed. There's a certain time that it has to be installed before they can test some of it, just because the EPA wants to make sure if the pipe starts to settle over time. So they're doing their sanitary sewer testing this week as well. I cannot get a written schedule from them. I am told that next Wednesday-ish, Zach Wagner will be out and he will start digging out for the pond and for the road. So he'll start doing the mass grading. IPC will continue doing the storm sewer and get that completed as well.
So it's moving along pretty quickly, so. Spray patch machines obviously out in service for the winter. The road projects, the TIF 3 funds, Robinson's working on the topo. I think,
Yeah, the concrete in that area, actually Bob was able to look at it after a couple minor rain events, so it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of curb work or driveway work, which is a good thing. The pavement cores were completed. We're waiting on that. Once I have the pavement core data, then we'll get with Lauren to figure out kind of a game plan on the actual road, just to see what on Belmont we need. You know, we need to know how much asphalt's out there. So it's been done. I'm just waiting to get that from our sub.
street sweepers running intermittently, obviously temperature dependent. Another truck that has a lot of water on it, you don't take it out in freezing weather. Staffing, we're back down 3 employees. We lost an employee recently. Ended up being a mutual agreement, and he resigned. So I won't go into detail on that. If you have any questions, you can look me up afterwards. Probably won't hire until the spring, or at least after the new year at this point. With the holidays coming up, there's no point in getting rolling on that. Next items here, miscellaneous. The Santa Claus house removal. We need to make a decision if we want to auction it or sell it outright. Talking with Can Card, no city employees can purchase it. We had other city employees inquire about it as well. So we need to decide what you guys want to do with it. It's sitting at the sewer plant. We had to unload it off the trailer because we need our trailer for equipment. It's just either way that you auction it or sell it outright. You need to make it clear that whoever purchases it is responsible for getting it and getting it out of there, transporting it. So, I mean, we're not gonna, unless you guys want to add that to the sale. It's up to you guys, but I don't know if we want to take responsibility
get
loading
some
on somebody's
pictures?
trailer or anything like that. So,
Get
I don't think-
pictures and then run it on the website.
do you guys want to do an auction style? Is that what you're wanting, or do you want? Okay.
We'll have
Because it sounded like there were several people interested in this thing, and after last month, I have no desire in that thing
Yeah.
anyway. So, so okay, yeah, I'll get Kathy some pictures, and we'll get it posted for.
It doesn't owe us anything, right? It was donated?
Yeah, it was donated, I believe. So. Next item here is the property on the west side of the West Bridge. I think something 12 something Sugar Creek has been cleaned up. We're waiting to take possession of the property. Talking with the fire department, they asked to use this for a burn training, and they'll get permits, proper permits once we get possession of this. So I think it'd be a good opportunity for them to use it, and then that'll reduce the removal of the waste left behind. So it's one less hideout for some of our less fortunates around here, and I think that's better off for our community. I think we've been trying pretty hard the last year and a half to clear areas out and try to give them less hiding spots and less camps. You know, it's unfortunate that these people are in the positions they are in, but I feel that there's plenty of help out there if they want help, and I think we can get them help. But squatting behind these houses and around these houses is not the help we want to help them with. So, tree trimming, it's hit and miss right now. Next item here, I provided 2 quotes for router. Our server down at the Public Works has been giving me fits for the last 6-8 months. They're constantly going in, resetting it. I'm resetting it. They said it's just at its end of life. So they gave me 2 quotes, one to replace the server, or the other one is to put it on cloud. I asked them, what's the point of doing the cloud? Because it's like $6,000 some every year on top of the $2,000 some to install the equipment versus the $4,500 one-time purchase. We could replace the $4,500 equipment every year and still be money ahead on the cloud service. So I haven't gotten an answer out of them on what the benefits going cloud is versus.
That server that you're talking about only deal with what is your office? So it has nothing to do with the sewage treatment plant and
it's Public Works and picks up the sewage treatment plant.
So in other words, we're dependent on that server to get the data that's constantly being generated by the sewage treatment plant, so that's important.
No. It's just the cameras. This is only cameras. It has
Oh,
nothing to
okay.
do with the SCADA system. SCADA is completely separate. No,
Okay.
this is just cameras. So I don't.
You said server, so I was thrown
Sorry,
off.
no, it's just the cameras. I don't see the need. I know we went with the cloud service here with PD. I think they needed a longer time to be able. I think they need to store their videos longer, things like that. I think it's a little less critical on my end. I don't. So I'm just seeking the 4563. Yeah, I don't see the need to spend $6,000 every year for cloud service.
I'll make a motion, we accept the proposal from Reuter for $4,563.
Second.
Roll.
Miller,
Aye.
Delar,
Aye.
Marcier,
Aye.
Cahill, Rolfs,
Aye.
Mensch,
Aye.
Beargery,
Aye.
Anderson,
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Roll call carried.
Last item on my list is equipment. I know the replacement of the street sweeper was brought up last month. Thinking about this more, after the repairs we made, that truck's got some life left in it. The truck that's been on the table to replace for many years is the 2001 dump truck. I believe the previous director had discussed replacing this at one point as well. When I first came on, I looked at trucks. At that point, it was 18 to 24 months to get a truck built at inflated cost. I looked at them earlier this year. It was 12 to 18 months, at a little bit better price. I talked with them this week. They're seeing trucks built 7 or 8 months. Pretty confident in that, and the prices are starting to stabilize. He gave me a quick estimate of about $230,000. It's a brand new cab and chassis outfitted with a new 10-foot stainless steel dump box, a brand new plow, and then putting our stainless steel salt spreader off of our old truck, which is a newer spreader, onto this new truck. I think if we're going to be looking at replacing equipment, this truck has been nickel and diming us for a handful of years now. This thing leaks more fluids and has been out to CNL every few months for this or that. It's seeing it's at its age of end of life. The biggest issue is it will not pass the safety lane because the frame is swollen due to rust, and the leaf springs are rubbing the frame. So it's not only at end of life, but it's going to be a safety issue soon as well. So I know you brought up looking at cost on the street sweeper, but I think this takes priority over that. So I'm hoping to have Ron Equipment is working with 4 different dealers: Kenworth, Peterbilt, Mack, and International. Supposed to have 4 quotes for me hopefully next week, so I'm hoping to have those for next week's council meeting. I would like to get approval sooner rather than later. That way we'd have it before next winter. They said there's no money down. You pay for the truck when it's built and ready to go. So we could not only get it going, but we could actually budget it correctly for a 2025 year, 2025 to 26, and we don't have to pull money out of that.
Anything for the old one?
Ron was honest, said we'd be better off finding a municipal auction. We'd get better money out of it than trading it in.
Or a farmer.
So, and he said he would give me some information on that as far as, where to, what's that Ritchie Brothers? They know they do a lot of government auctions as well, so that might be our best option up there in Morris. So I think once the new truck shows up, we'd look into.
Water department, is that where it's used most of the time?
Our dump trucks are used, water, sewer mains. We use it for garbage, it's.
Garbage too?
So I almost feel that we could pull a little bit out of garbage, cause
I'm liking the sound.
town cleanup, it's just, we could spread that cost out, but I think once we get the actual estimates next week, then we can kinda look on if we wanna move forward, how to divvy that up.
Yeah, we take it out all four. Parks,
Yeah.
garbage, water, sewer.
Those dump trucks are used for everything, plowing, garbage.
Don't let that other one sit around. We got a fire truck sitting out there turning to junk.
That was used today. We're using it until it's on its way out the door, so, we need all three trucks going for plowing
You're
and
right,
everything
Dennis.
else,
We
so.
need to get something going on that fire.
It's just, we're adding transmission fluid left and right, even though CNL told me it doesn't leak fluid, so.
I have a question.
Yes.
So, you know how, whenever you cross the railroad,
Mm-hmm.
and so, the railroad, the railroad track is on a different level with the road.
Yeah.
So then it just causes your car, whenever even though, I tried to cross it, really slow so that your
You
car
bounce, yeah.
it bounced really bad. So I was wondering, is there anything that the railroad be able to do anything about it?
Yeah, that's the railroad. It's tough to get them to do anything. Look how long it took to get them to redo the crossing on Walnut this last year or this year. I know the crossing on South Second needs to be fixed. The railroad, they don't like to do a lot with their tracks, unfortunately. The crossings don't affect their trains any. That's the car's problem. All we can do is continue to complain to the UP and eventually maybe
Yeah,
get
because
them
the
out.
one that I know, when you just get off Route 24, you go to the back road of the county road.
So what we've been doing is have ICOM, they've been reaching out to UP whenever they see issues. ICOM obviously handles the county roads too, so if you see an issue with the tracks, I'd recommend telling people to call ICOM and have them reach out to the UP to at least make them aware of issues. And
Okay.
maybe if they get enough complaints, they'll do something. And then I'm gonna turn this over to Keith for any updates he may have left on the plate. Did we cover everything?
I think we covered them.
Who's covering 101 West Mulberry, Unit 9?
Yeah,
On
that
the
was
agenda.
So that is Glen Raymond.
But that's all, we're done talking
sorry,
about that?
I had it on my list too.
Okay, so we're done talking about that.
Yep, yeah, that
All right.
one's,
The only question I had for Keith, the lead service line agreement that was on our boxes.
There's another round of grants from the EPA, so to get additional work for the reporting and testing that you have to have for the EPA, it's no cost to the city. It's just another EPA grant at this point. So
So that's what this agreement is the grant?
it's a grant to continue getting inventory of the lead service lines, and at some point, if we start to identify lead service lines, they have grants that also help pay to replace them. So, once we start coming across them, which I don't think there's but a handful.
I've only came across one and I've already replaced that in 22 when it first started. So
But
Unfortunately, the EPA has put the lead services on the backs of the water company and municipalities. So these grants are out there to help offset some of the costs that are being put on the city.
I just noticed the agreement was for quite a bit more money.
they do them for 40, it's 40,000 max is what the grants are.
We've gotten 2 rounds.
You've already
of
had
our-
2 of them already.
Okay.
So that's where we've been using those funds for, the surveying, mapping. I think they've actually done some,
We've gone into homes, and that's what those mailings that went out earlier to ask people
Yeah.
to either take pictures or, we've been into a handful of homes as well to identify. The issue is years ago, if you had unknown on your service list, the EPA would let it slide, but now an unknown is considered lead, so you have to have them positively identified or else, they start coming down on you. So, it's just for additional testing, again, going into homes. There'll be money to, well, we can't have the city do it, but if you guys were backed up and we had to have a contractor come out and start locating, we could do that, so.
I believe some of those funds can be used to replace the customer's portion of the service
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
So it'll help with residents that may have lead
I
service.
was wondering, because there was quite a bit of difference with the new
I think each,
amendment.
yeah, I think each round has been for 40,000 is what the max they
Right.
do.
This is 120.
That's the
That's the
total of all
total.
3.
The total for all 3 then?
Yes, that's just adding
Okay.
to the first 2 that were
Okay.
received
I
already.
just wanted to double
Yeah,
check that
yeah,
with you on
no.
that.
Yep, no, it's
I didn't know if this
40 is
new or
what,
if this is-
they're doling it out in $40,000 chunks,
Okay.
so.
Makes sense. That's all I had.
Any questions on current projects, future projects?
One thing I
service?
gotta say, I think I need to thank the tree fairy. There was a large branch hanging up in the tree over Pleasant Street, and it seemed like it disappeared overnight.
Yeah, we went and resolved that yesterday pretty quick there at the end of the day, so.
Thank you.
I appreciate that getting brought to my attention. Unfortunately, we're not on every street everywhere, so, we appreciate the notifications of issues that are out there, so.
It's was kind of a safety hazard there.
Yeah, that
if
could have
we
been
had a
bad.
large
That
wind or
could have
something come up, so.
damaged the
glad to
car
see
or
it.
hurt somebody, So, that's all I have.
Anybody else have anything?
The only thing I want to add, and I apologize, it's not Public Works, but it's something I think we need to discuss real quickly. There is a new law, an Illinois law that is going out, 1/1 of '25. Kathy, are you aware of the Illinois Transparency Pay Act? Okay. It's something that we have to put out every time we put a job posting up. I know that you do a lot, Lauren, as far as out in the newspaper or online. We have to, by law, provide pay scale and the benefits. So that's something that I wouldn't mind working with Kathy with. I don't know that we need to get legal counsel involved as long as we're able to, get it put up and out where we need to. But I didn't want us to fall behind with it coming up so quickly. So I'll work with you if you'd like, Kathy.
Okay.
Okay.
Anybody else?
That's all I had.
That motion to adjourn then.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.